Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to Robertsport, Liberia. We have spent the last couple months working our way up from Cape Town, and we're going all the way up to Morocco, up the west coast of Africa, completely overland. So only by road have we been going up the west coast here. We've been camping along the way. We've been seeing parts of West Africa that no one has gotten to see. And honestly, we've been on an adventure of a lifetime here. And this afternoon, I wanted to take some time to give you guys a tour of the ultimate Africa Overland vehicle that we've been taking with Oasis. It's this iconic yellow truck. You can't miss it when you see it on the road here. And Oasis specializes in overland adventures and overland road trips in many different places around the world. They do like big South Africa trips, Central Asia, but the cream of the crop is the Africa Overland expeditions. Some of the most wild terrain. You never know what roads you're gonna get. We just got stuck in the mud for a little bit yesterday in some of the muddy back roads of Liberia here. And yeah, this beast of a truck has taken us to some of the most remote corners of West Africa. And it's been such a cool way to experience Africa. There's so many cool parts of this truck, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a tour of the inside, some of the features that we have, some of the places that you can just watch the amazing landscapes of West Africa go by, show you some of the tents that we use when we're out camping in really remote bush camps. Yeah, and how we cook and set up some of our dinners when we're out in the bush. And so yeah, let's start by taking you up the back staircase of the truck here and showing you guys the inside of this old RAF vehicle that Oasis takes on these overland expeditions. So yeah, let's head in and show you guys the inside. Alright guys, we have just entered the main passenger section of our overland truck here, and this is where we spend most of our days, because to drive across West Africa, you're going to be spending a lot of time on the road. We'll spend anywhere from about 5 to 12 hours just driving across West Africa, seeing the sights and the villages and the landscapes out these big open windows here. There's no glass here. We have these canvas windows that can roll up, so you just have this completely open air seating back here where you can just stick your head right out the window here as you're going through all of these African landscapes. We have this side rolled up here, but of course if it's raining or anything, you can roll this kind of clear canvas down, although you can't see too well through this because it's so like scraped up from all the trees. But again, being open air, sometimes you'll have branches that are going to be swinging through the cab here, so you're constantly ducking and dodging branches as you're sitting here. And so yeah, love the open air. And then as you're going through here, the wind will just be whipping through. So of course it's a pretty dated vehicle, so there's not really air conditioning back here, but when you have the wind coming through here, it can stay quite cool even on the hot, muggy African days here. So yeah, that's one really cool feature I just love about the overland vehicle, just how open to the elements you are. And then one of the top features of being in the back passenger area here is what we call the beach area. So all the way up at the front, right above the cab where the driver is, you have the beach here. And up here we have just a couple cushions, and there's this canvas that's here now, but you can roll the canvas back and open up the beach here. And that's where I spend a majority of our drive days, is just kneeling up here and just seeing Africa fly by from the open air convertible feel. The wind in your hair is just one of the best feelings, and the best way to see West Africa, in my opinion, is up here, especially when you're driving through like a market or any place where you wouldn't necessarily want to be on the ground because it's just crazy or chaotic. But from up on top of the vehicle in the beach area, as we call it, it's just one of the best views that you can have of West Africa. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then underneath the cushions here, there's a huge amount of storage. So these cushions will come up, and we have some boards that you can lift up, and there's just tons and tons of storage under the beach area. Usually it's not stuff that you want to access too regularly, but we have like a lot of extra fuel down there, some extra pots and pans, some extra food items that can all be stored under the beach area. So yeah, that is definitely one of my favorite features of this overland vehicle, is just being able to ride up on top of the truck like that. So then anyways, up near the front here, we also have this beautiful old National Geographic map of Africa, and this has been one of my favorite places just to track our journey all the way, starting in Cape Town and just going all the way up the west coast. And we're actually here in Liberia now, so almost about to take that turn up to the northern part and finish up in Morocco. But yeah, love looking at the map, keeping track of our progress over here. Then over on this side of the interior near the front, we have a whiteboard. So this is where a lot of like news information goes. It's also where we usually keep track of what day we're on. Our tour leader will write what day we're on, like who's on cook groups, what meals we're gonna have off the truck versus what meals we're gonna be eating out for. Also, if there's gonna be any points of interest throughout the day's drive, that'll all be written here. So it's a good place to come and check what day we're on, what we're doing, and just kind of keeping track of where we are on the trip. So yeah, so that's right across from the map here and right near the beach area. Then up here we actually have a couple Lonely Planet guidebooks. This has been a good guide for, you know, when we're going through Africa, I want to know what we're going to be seeing in different parts. We have West Africa, then we have like a whole Africa book, because this trip doesn't do just West Africa, they also will do the East Coast as well sometimes. And then right in between these two seats we have a little book area, so if you want any light reading or heavy reading on the truck, this is where you can come and see what books we have, or sometimes there are more guidebooks there and you can swap out books as you're reading them throughout the trip there. So yeah, and then just behind here is where we store like the broom, and some cleaning equipment is stashed right behind these chairs here. But then if you're looking for more cleaning equipment, there's just so many little like pockets and compartments throughout the vehicle here, and I love it because like you just look here and it all just looks like a sitting area, but there's so many secret compartments throughout the back of this truck here. So again, right near the front here we have a trash can, and it's actually secured in here, so it's good to just kind of keep the truck neat and orderly a little bit, to have a trash can where you can store all that. But if you take the trash can out, beneath the trash can there is another secret storage compartment, and this is where we can stash a lot of other stuff. It's actually where we keep some cold drinks right now, but we also have a lot of cleaning equipment and other things that just want to be out of sight. You can kind of keep in there underneath the trash can. And then there's 3 of these openings too, so that allow you to access some of that under storage. So okay, so right next to the map here on the left side of the passenger area, this is where we can charge everything we need. So right now we just have a lot of these cigarette lighters where you can do a lot of like USB charging. Unfortunately, there's no like 12 or 24 volt, it's just the USB. So we have about 8 of these sockets here, and this is where we're like charging our phones and cameras throughout the day, and you can just plug those in and then stash your phone up above here. There's a little bit of an enclosed area so your phones aren't flying, because there's a lot of times where we're hitting big bumps, so you want to make sure your phone is tucked away into one of these compartments or whatever you're charging there. And then all along the edges of the truck up above the passengers' seats, we have this netted in storage shelf up here. And this is where I keep a lot of like day-to-day convenience things that you don't want to store in our under storage lockers, which I'll show you in a second. But so for instance, I keep a lot of like my shoes here. Sometimes I'll keep different like books up here, my towel, some toiletries, any extra clothes. If you're going to be changing clothes a lot throughout the day, it's nice to just have some like long pants or hats, just things that you want to access pretty readily, that you don't want to go deep into your under storage lockers for. So, but then yeah, for a lot of your other like bigger storage, like a lot of our suitcases and backpacks, underneath all of these seats there's a little tab, and you can lift these seats open, and then you have this whole under seat storage lockers where we keep a lot of our suitcases. That's also where I keep a lot of like my sleeping gear, so my sleeping bag, sleeping pads, pillows, so when we set up our tents for the evening, come back in here, grab all of our sleeping stuff out of our personal lockers. And we have a smaller group on this trip, so there's only about 8 or 10 of us, so we all have our own lockers that we store all of our own individual suitcases and everything under. They're quite deep under there, and that's where we're able to store a lot of our extra clothing and sleeping stuff. I mean, basically everything you own is there. Again, I just use this for easy access stuff throughout the day, but even though it's netted, you don't want to put anything too valuable up there, because when we're rocking through some of those muddy roads, you don't want things flying out. Then in the corner here we have an extra cool box. This used to be the cool box that we kept a lot of our cold stuff in, but now it's kind of like storage stuff through the day. So like any food stuff that you want, we keep in here. Like when we make lunch for our long truck days, that'll all be kept in the cool box here. And then this is actually usually left on the ground in the aisle here, which can kind of be in the way like when we're walking around and stuff. So sometimes we store it up on the seats, but it also becomes a bit of a place like where you can put your feet up during the day on these long drive days. But yeah, so you can open this up, and then in here is where we will store any food or cold things that we want during the day on these long road trip days. And one nice addition that we didn't actually have at the beginning of the trip, but our driver Steve put up, is right beneath the shelving unit and above our head rests here, he put up a clothesline. So during the day, if you have like wet towels or wet shirts, we have some clothespins and you can dry those, and they flap in the wind of the truck as we're driving. So we're not getting all the seats wet and your towels not getting musky, but I've loved having this clothesline to just dry stuff throughout. And then on the other side, underneath the shelving system here, we actually have a buzzer system. So that's how we communicate with the cab. There's different buzzes that we can do. Like if we just need a toilet stop, we buzz once. If we want a photo stop, you can buzz twice. And if it's like an emergency, you can just hold it down or just buzz it 3 times to get the driver to stop immediately if there's like an emergency in the back of the cab here. And then right next to that, we have the light switch. And so during the day, obviously it's light enough in here, but at night, this also kind of becomes a bit of a living room. So we can turn on the lights here, and then we'll have lights either just while we're getting stuff out of our lockers to get all of our sleeping stuff ready, or a lot of times we'll play cards in here or hang out, read, journal, whatever you want. This just kind of like, especially when we're in a bush camp, this becomes our community space where we're just hanging out at night. And yeah, so it's nice to have those lights here. So yeah, that is the light switch. And so yeah, that's a lot of our personal space. Again, in here we have a lot of hidden storage. So one thing, all of the floorboards that we're walking on here, they all have storage underneath here. So we can lift up the storage containers here. There's like a little tab and they're hinged on the other side. And here is where we keep a lot of our extra like dry food goods. So a lot of like pastas, rices, some sauces are kept under this one. And then under some of these we have more tools. So actually the other day when we got stuck in the mud, we opened these up because that's where we'll keep like a lot of shovels and axes and things that we might need, some more like heavy duty equipment that we might need throughout the truck. And then up here there's one more little smaller floorboard storage, and this is where we have our first aid kit, and then it's also where we have a bit of a safe here where we can keep a lot of our valuables. We can keep passports and a lot of extra money, and so that's all double locked in the safe here and then hidden under the floorboards. So yeah, for a lot of like the valuables or things that we want to keep really safe. So yeah, anyways, I think those are a lot of like the major parts of the interior in the back of the truck here. And again, this is where we're spending a majority of our time as we're driving through West Africa. This really just feels like my home after a couple months. It's where we spend our days driving. It's where we store all of our stuff, and it's where we'll hang out at night too when we don't want to be in our tents. So yeah, anyways, that's the interior. There's a lot of really cool storage compartments and different ways that we like set up cook group, because we have like a whole bush kitchen that we have off the side here. So let me go outside the truck here and show you guys some of like the outer components of our Overland vehicle. Guys, I have just come to the right side of the vehicle here, and underneath the vehicle and on the side we have a bunch more storage lockers for outdoor storage stuff. So I'll start right here behind the driver's door. We have the ladder, and this is the ladder that will take you up to the top of the vehicle. So when we want to like take the canvas off the top to have the beach open, we'll climb up this, and then up here we have some wood that we can use for fires if we need that for cooking. Under here, in here, behind the ladder, this actually opens up into some slot storage, and this is where we have a lot of different folding tables. So these will come out at night when we have cook group, when we're cooking off the side of the truck. Those will come out, and that's where we do like a lot of our prep work and wash our dishes and yeah, chop some vegetables. So those are all stored in here. And a lot of this side of the vehicle actually is all used for a lot of the cook group stuff. But before we get into like a lot of the cooking stuff and how we turn this into like an outdoor kitchen, right next to that locker is our tent locker. So this will open up. In here we have these bags with these canvas tents. We actually have a few of them open here where a few people are sleeping out today, but this is what the tent will look like. So all of those are stored in our tent locker along with our tent poles and everything. So that'll close. And then right next to that, we actually have a bit of like a cleaning center. So this is where we have like some bins to do the dishes. It's where we have like a lot of dish soap, where we have Dettol, some rags, sponges, we have a fire deterrent, and we have a lot of other like cleaning supplies can be found in this cabinet. It also has a light here, so at night you can see what's in the cleaning cupboard. Then right here, this is locked right now, but we have another sliding table that'll come out, and that's where we do a lot of our cooking on that wooden table. Actually, that's where we set up the propane and a lot of the burners. So then both of these gray things open up like this. And in here, in the first one, we have two storage containers here. We have a dinner box, and so that's where we have like a lot of like rice and like canned goods and like things that we'll be using for dinner. And then beneath that, we have a designated breakfast box where coffees, cereals, milk, stuff like that is stored. Then I'm not going to bother getting everything out now, but here we have a lot of our cutlery. We have cups, silverware. We have some cutting boards here. Down the side, we have a little bit of our washing stuff, so like some of the washing and drying racks. And then underneath this is where we have the utensils, so that's where we have a lot of spatulas, knives, anything that we're using for cooking. It's also where we have keep some of like the fire starters and everything. So yeah, some food, some utensils, and then over on this side we have our tea kettle. Then behind here we have the burners. We have 4 of these black burners that connect to the propane, which is in the other storage facility there. And so that's where we get those out, and these orange lines hook into the propane tank. Over here we have a lot of pots and pans. Those are all stored in here, and above that we have a lot of spices and sauces that you can use for cooking. So there's 3 different containers that can be used for that. So yeah, that's where a lot of our kitchen and cookware stuff comes from, is from these 2 cabinets here. Then actually right above, we have not used these much, except we used them the other day in Liberia on some muddy roads. But if the car or truck ever gets stuck in the mud, these are some mats that you can put under the tire to help give some traction to the tires to get unstuck from the mud. Then actually I'll head back just under the tent locker. We have a little water spigot here, so that's where we can use fresh water for cooking. It's also treated, so it's good enough for drinking, but yeah, like a lot of cooking water or like brushing your teeth, just have some truck water that we can use there. And then over here near the back of the truck is one other under truck locker, and this is actually where the propane is stored. So we have a big tank of propane, we have the line that connects to the burners that are in that other cupboard here, and then we also have all of these stools. So when we're cooking off the truck and we want to like camp outside, we have some stools that everybody can sit on. So yeah, anyways, that is this side of the locker. The other side of the truck also has a few lockers. There's not too much to show over there. It's where a lot of like the mechanical stuff is kept, where our driver Steve keeps a lot of his tools and machinery that he needs to fix anything on the truck. And then there is another side over there where we have a cool box, where if we have any like meat or cheese or vegetables that need to be kept cold, we can keep it in there, along with some other canned goods that we can use for cooking. So that's, yeah, if we're cooking off the truck, that's where a lot of the setup is, and we usually set up the tables and everything right in front of those lockers so that we have everything that we need for the cooking. So yeah, and then you have the driver's cabin there. Honestly, I haven't been there too much, but you can ride as a passenger if you wanted to be in the front of the truck there. So yeah, anyways, that is a brief tour of our overland vehicle. This is what we've been in the last 4 months, coming all the way up from Cape Town. And again, it's just gotten us through so many situations. Even the other day when we were stuck in the mud and all the muddy roads, I mean, it took so long for us to get stuck because it really handles so many different situations, and it's just like a beast of a truck. Again, it used to be used by the Royal Air Force. So yeah, that is the main tour there of the truck. And yeah, just a really cool vehicle. Love just like the bright yellow color of it. You can just spot it like miles away when we're at like a campsite or anything. And it's just been a really awesome, rugged vehicle to be cruising across Africa in. And it's, I mean, by no means is it like a luxury setup there, but this has really become a part of my house. You know, again, we're spending most of the day in the back of the cab there, and then sitting up on the beach. It's just been such a cool way to see West Africa go by, and it's just been an epic experience. And again, Oasis, they have these trucks that are going up and down Africa all the time, but they also are going across Central Asia, South America. They have going all the way across Asia as well. So yeah, lots of epic adventures have been had and can be had on these massive big yellow Oasis Overland trucks. So yeah, I have just a couple weeks left here actually on my Overland West Africa trip. I'm getting off a little early before Morocco, but a lot of the rest of the crew is going to be going all the way up to Fez in this big yellow truck. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. Definitely check out Oasis if you are looking for an epic adventure. You know, overlanding is one of the best ways to see a lot of these countries because you're just stopping and seeing places that you normally wouldn't if you're just passing through or flying over. But when you're on the land and you're driving through it all, you're just seeing all of the in-betweens, the good, the bad, and the adventurous. So yeah, anyways, check out Oasis, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the tour of our epic Africa overlanding truck. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'll be having a series coming out pretty soon that'll take you on all of the adventures that we had across West Africa. So stay tuned for that to see where this truck has taken us on our Africa overland expedition.